welcome to ET Garage. I'm Eugene Tordo. I want to thank everybody that subscribed so far. If you haven't, go down there at the description button, notification bell. I'm very close to being monetized, I may even already be monetized by the time you watch this video. Who knows? But like I said, thanks again for everyone that subscribed. Anyway, today's video will be about removing the instrument cluster, and I will be dropping. You do need to drop the steering column to do that. And this is on a 90 through 96. It's pretty much all the same as far as I know. I will be sending it off to baittee.com. I will leave a link in the description box below to his website. He repairs pretty much everything electronic that has to do on the dash on C4 Corvettes 84 through 96. He has a bunch of excellent videos on repairing stuff and removing the instrument cluster like I'm going to do. I'm not going to go into real good detail. His video is probably going to be better than mine anyway. But I'm going to do mine a little different because in 1990, that was the first year for airbags on a Corvette. And on 1990, they only had the airbag on the driver's side and the steering wheel. So I'm going to go through the procedure for that. And like anytime you work on electronics on any car, you should disconnect the battery. And of course, I'm going to be removing the airbag. You're supposed to discharge, after you disconnect the battery, you're supposed to discharge electricity by, just turn your key on or your headlights and make sure there's no residual electricity in there. Usually, I've never had an airbag. Well, the only airbag I've ever removed is on my 90 Corvette steering wheel, and I've never had it blow up in my face yet. That being said, it's so old it probably doesn't work anyway. So I'll get inside here and show you exactly what I need to do. Okay, I'm inside the car, and basically what you're going to have to do to remove the instrument cluster is you need to lower the steering column. You don't need to totally unbolt it, but you do need to remove it, loosen it up and lower it, get it out of the way. Now, like I said, in my case, I'm going to go ahead and remove the steering wheel because I'm going to be doing repair on the steering knuckle. I'll get into that in another video. And one thing you need to do is remove two screws here. This is your kick panel, and carpet goes under there. The screws going across the front here, and then there should be some down there. I noticed in Baittee's video it's a little different. He uses torque screws over here on the car he was working on, and I think he used hexagonal head screws on the front here, where I just have old Phillips in mine, and then a 7mm hexagonal screw on the bottom, I think, somewhere. Then under there's what they call the hush panel. It's actually a metal panel. It is a structural part of the instrument, of the dashboard, and it does so. Make sure you replace that. Don't leave that out when you put everything back together. That is a structural part, keeps everything from moving and rattling. And there will be two bolts over here, underneath here, and two bolts buried way down under here, or down under here actually. I'll show you that when I get this off. And then what you're going to do is loosen up the two bolts, lower the steering column. Then you're going to remove some Phillips heads that removes this trim piece, and then some screws that holds the instrument cluster in, and it just pulls right out. It's just like a plug-in thing, so there's no harness back there. So I guess let me get into that. Another thing you might want to do if you want to go through the trouble and you're going to be getting in and out of the car is remove your targa top, because then you're not going to, it just makes it easier when working on interior projects like this. I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and get this out. First, get the steering wheel off, because it's easier to do it while it's bolted in, and it'll make it easier to get around everything. So I'll get to work on that. instrument cluster is out. Keep in mind, these things are like 30 years old, and like mine, 235,000 miles. And the plastic is getting fragile, and I did break that tab. I'll repair that when it comes back from Bait T. I'm not too worried about that. And if you're wondering how this plugs in, there's that right there. That plugs into the dash right there. And this is how your dashboard looks with the instrument cluster out and the steering wheel column dropped. One thing I should point out is, and this is what I forgot to do, was put my power chair or power seat all the way back on the driver's side. So try and do that before you disconnect your battery. I'm getting back over to the instrument cluster. One thing you want to know when removing your hush panel, this is the hush panel. This side will be on the driver's side. There'll be 4 10mm bolts. They're different. They're actually different sizes. You got these thicker ones that go on that side, and these thinner ones. This will be by the transmission tunnel side. Go this side. Remove these two last. Remove these two first. I'm sorry. Remove these two first, and especially this one. You might want to remove that first, because this actually kind of gets buried behind the carpet. And if you drop it behind the carpet, you're going to have to lift your carpet up to get to it, or just leave it under there and get another matching bolt. But you're better off getting these two first, then the ones on the driver's side, get them last. This is a structural part of the dashboard, so keep that in mind. And when you take it out, you're going to have to wiggle this out. So you're going to have to give it a yank. It'll feel like it's stuck. You just give it a yank and it'll pull out. When you drop your steering column, you're going to need two 15mm, well, there's two 15mm headed bolts. So you'll need a 15mm socket for those. And if you're going to do like me and remove the steering wheel, when you remove the airbag, you will need a T30. Hopefully you guys can see that. And this is the bolt that comes out the back. This is very hard to line up with it inside the steering wheel. You got to wiggle this thing around like crazy before it will go in. It'll actually feel like it's not the right size, but that's what it is, T30. Another thing you need to know, if you're going to remove the steering wheel like I did, you're going to need a steering wheel puller or some puller like I used, and you will use a 21mm socket. Take that off. You don't need to use an impact like I did. I just did it because I have an impact. That is about it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope the information was helpful. I'm going to get that wrapped up and off to Bait T. In the meantime, everybody have a great day, and God bless.